BYD says it wants to sell 500,000 cars outside of China this year. Last year, BYD sold 242,765. So he wants to double sales globally, just over double. This is outside of China. However, if you compare BYD's growth from 2022 to 2023, it actually grew by 493.5%, right? 2022 versus 2023 growth of 494%. And BYD are actually predicting much slower growth this year, along with Tesla. In fact, BYD estimate its sales will grow at a very similar pace to Tesla by approximately 20% this year. BYD have revealed what their sales targets are, and they've also revealed who they're going after. They're primarily going after Japanese automakers in China. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to see you. You can see here this chart from CNF Post. It shows you market share for Japanese car brands in China has gone from, well, it was actually at around 28% only around 2 years ago. It's now dropped to around 15%. So market share for brands in Japan, based on the data we're seeing so far from February, appears to have nearly halved. And that's who BYD is saying they're going after this year. They're going after primarily Japanese automakers. They're saying it's called a liberation battle. And that's their reference, BYD CEO Wang Xiaofu. A lot of people just miss this reference. They don't understand what he's talking about when he says liberation battle. He's saying liberate China from Japan. Who's been the oppressors of China for, what, more than 100 years? Who actually invaded China numerous times, especially during World War II, killed 20 million Chinese citizens? Japan did. So that's what he's referring to, a liberation battle. I know you probably think he's referring to liberating buyers from purchasing internal combustion vehicles, but the primary sellers of internal combustion vehicles in China are not Chinese car brands. They're Japanese automakers, a little bit Americans. America has a much smaller market share. They've got about 8%, and there's some Germans as well. But yeah, this is very interesting numbers. So BYD is saying they are going to increase sales by not all that much this year, by a bit more than 20%. They're planning on selling around 4 million vehicles. They've actually told suppliers to prepare for 4.2 million, but I believe that kind of scaling that back based on their sales so far this year, which haven't quite been what we would have expected. And part of the reason for that is the Chinese economy. It's a bloodbath. It's insane this year. Way too many cars have been manufactured in China because you've got car companies, Western car companies, who keep on making the same number of cars, and there's nowhere to put them. They're storing them in basically car parks, and then they're selling them really, really cheaply. So BYD has to contend with that. So do Tesla, so do the other car makers. But at the same time, EV sales in China, it's so far in March, for the first 3 weeks of March, have hit 48%. Now, BYD have just revealed their Q4 sales results and their performance results and net income results for the fourth quarter of 2023. And they've revealed that profit has gone down. So BYD actually sold 943,000 cars in the fourth quarter of 2023. If they could hit that kind of number every quarter, they'd be selling nearly 4 million cars a year. BYD, though, their profit went down from 10.4 billion to 8.67 billion. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Even though their sales went up, their profit went down. The reason is because BYD have reduced the price of their cars significantly in order to crush their competition. Good on BYD. I think they should do it. There's a lot of EV makers in China that shouldn't be there. There's 90 of them. It's ridiculous. Some of them being propped up by the Chinese government. That's unquestionably happening. A lot of them just need to be just gotten rid of. But more importantly, BYD is taking sales away from legacy car manufacturers who just make primarily internal combustion engine vehicles. Now, BYD actually told analysts of its sales goal in a call. It spoke to Morgan Stanley and said it's aiming for 3.6 million, but actually its internal goal is 4 million sales. And in addition to that, BYD are doing some pretty impressive stuff this year. They've already opened their car factory, their EV factory in Thailand. They're manufacturing a factory in Indonesia. They've got a factory that they've actually just opened in Brazil. They're manufacturing a factory, I believe it's in Hungary, an electric car plant for Europe. And they're also, like I said, trying to double their sales outside of China this year to 500,000. I think by 2030, BYD will be either the first or second biggest car manufacturer worldwide. Because if you're not disrupting someone else, you're being disrupted. You can't really tell me that Japanese automakers are disrupting anyone, or European automakers as well. They're not disrupting anyone either, but they're being disrupted. Clearly, you can see that from this sales chart here. And considering China's car market is the most important car market in the world, I mean, 27, 28 million cars a year, that's more than 33%, around 33, 34% of all cars sold worldwide are sold in China. BYD is clearly intending to just kick out a lot of these Japanese automakers, possibly some, maybe even American ones, maybe even Ford as well. Clearly, that's what BYD are going after this year. The question remains, how long do those legacy automakers have left in Japan? Toyota's sales in Japan just fell by 36% in February. 36%.